Hello and welcome everyone to a new episode of Code Savvy. What we'll be doing today is we'll be using GitHub Copilot and VS Code to build a Dad's Joke web page using MCP servers. Now let's see how to do that. Hopefully it should be fun and I hope you enjoy the video. Okay. Now before we go any further, I'll try to explain through an analogy of what is an MCP server. So MCP stands for Model Context Protocol as most of you would be knowing. Now, very recently, I had my backyard dug. I needed a hole for a very innocuous reason, and I asked help to come along. Now, when this help came along, I told him that, you know what, I want to build a hole of this and this dimensions, and what the help then required of me was to provide him with some tools to do the work. So what I did is I said, okay, I'll provide you the tools. I provided him the tools. The help, right, use those tools to build that hole to my specifications. Now, when you compare this to an MCP server, okay, what an MCP does, you can think of this help, the icon which I've named as actor, uh, being an AI agent, and this tools is something that is being used by the MCP server to do what we required the AI agent to do essentially. So if you think of it, right, the MCP host is something that we would be installing on our either on our desktop or IDE, or we'll be using some tools. In this case, we are using VS Code IDE, right? And what it does is it will call a MCP server, which would then connect to whatever local resource or remote resource it requires to do the task we have asked it to do, right? So for each and every resource we require or each and every task we need to do, we can have multiple MCP servers. And what we will be doing in our cases, we'll be installing this or in our cases, just a single server on our machine using Docker desktop. Now, what are the prerequisites for this demo, right? So I am using the VS Code IDE. If possible, you can use VS Code Insider, which is what most instructors actually recommend to do, because VS Code Insiders gives you lots of early access to many tools and features. But as of today, as of this date, I have noticed that the normal VS Code has everything we need for the purpose of this demo, at least. So uh, you can either use VS Code or VS Insider. Yeah. Then you would need a Docker desktop installed on your machine. So I am using a Windows machine. I've already used Docker desktop. Ensure that it is up and running, right? And since we'll be using GitHub uh, to actually pull the code required for building the Dad's Joke web page, you will need a GitHub account. So if you do not have it, please go ahead and create one. And you'll also need a GitHub API key, which I'll be showing how you can create. Right, so this is my GitHub account. Go to your profile, scroll down to your settings, go to developer settings, and from there you can create your personal access token. So for the ease of purpose, I've chosen tokens classic. Click on generate new token. Yeah, I'm just going to go with for general use again, just for ease. Give it a name, right? So I'm using GitHub underscore MCP. Feel free to use whatever name you want. Give it an expiration date. You can set it to 7 days, 30 days. In my case, I've set it 30 days. You can even set it to no expiration or a custom date. I would not recommend using no expiration because it has serious security issues, uh, right? and then you select the scope. So scope is essentially what can you do with the key? What access are you giving to it? Think of it as, are you giving a person a master key which can actually open all the doors in your house or building, or are you just giving access to certain rooms? So think of scopes in those terms, and give the scopes wisely, right? So for in our case, I'll give it the read and write packages. I'll give it access to the repo. I'll give it access to the workflow, and I think that should be it. I'll no, I won't give access to Copilot management. I don't want to do that, right? So then I'll generate the token. Now, once the token has been generated, right, copy paste it. Uh, I will be deleting this token after this video, so but in your case, make sure that you keep it securely and you do not share it with anyone. Next, what you would want is the actual code snippet that you can use in your settings.json file within VS Code to host the server locally. Uh, Now, what you can do is you can go to Google and search for MCP servers. It will give you a host of options. What I am using is mcp.so, and I found it to be an awesome website which gives you a lot of options to select from, be it server, MCP servers or clients and so on. So I'm using mcp.co, so, and what I'll do is I'll search for GitHub, which should bring me up the GitHub MCP server, right? So the first one here, click on that, right? You can read through the overview. It gives you loads of documentation about on what it is about. Go to the content page, right? Again, please read through. The documentation is very comprehensive. Scroll down till you reach the setup section. So once you reach the section, you can see it talks about creating a personal access token, which you have already done. But feel free to follow the steps given here, which is exactly the same as that we had done before. And then if you scroll a little more, what you would see is it gives you two options. You can either host the MCP server using Docker, or you can use npx. Now, if you're comfortable using npm and JavaScript packages, uh, more power to you. It's an easy way of doing things, but personally, I would prefer using Docker, and this is what I'm using for my demo there. Now, for this thing, you can copy this whole code snippet, which we can then copy paste into our settings.json file of VS Code, or uh, since we are using VS Code, it will generate that code automatically, and we just need to fill in certain sections. So what we would need from here really is just this, the name of the image, which is mcp slash GitHub, and VS Code should automatically take care of the remaining things. Now let's go to VS Code and see how things work from there. Now let us go to VS Code and let us set up our web page. Right, so open VS Code. As you can see, it's already open in my case, and I have also opened Copilot chat, GitHub Copilot chat. Now I have enabled Copilot to work in agent mode. Let's move this a little bit here, right? So if you see this drop down, I have ask edit agent, and I have selected the agent mode, which essentially gives the agent more control. It becomes more interactive and more responsive on things that we're trying to do. Maybe on a later video, I'll try to explain what these three modes actually do. But think of the agent mode being the most powerful and the most interactive for the time being, right? Then you can go ahead and select the model. I have selected Claude Sonnet 4. Now, based on what all you have subscribed to or what all you have signed in for, your drop-down list might be different. So choose an appropriate model. I'm using Claude Sonnet 4, right? And what you will also see is once you've chosen the agent mode, you will see this tools symbol. If you click on it, it actually lists out a whole lot of tools that is available to GitHub Copilot. Okay, and essentially what we have to do is we have to add our tool to this list, and we'll see how we can do it. Okay, yeah. Now go to your command palette, type MCP, and you can see you have two options, right? You have MCP, you can add your server, you can list your servers. I'm going to select the add server, select Docker image, which is installed from a Docker image, give the image name which you had copied earlier, hit enter, right? Allow. Yes, now it's asking for your GitHub personal access token. You can either enter it here or you can directly enter it in your settings.json file. I'll actually prefer to do it here. So I'm copy pasting my access token here, right? And now it's asking me for my GitHub username. So let me input my username. Yes, I'll press enter. I want the settings to be available for all users, right? And now we can see it has actually opened the settings.json file for VS Code, and it has inserted everything I require. And you can also see the server is now actually up and running. If you want, you could stop it or you could restart it. Now, if you go to the tools within the agent, and if you just scroll down, right, you can see now that you have your MCP server GitHub added. Okay, and it gives you a list of whole loads of essentially lists down all the accesses your MCP server has, your agent has through using this MCP server. Right. Now let us try and build our web page. That's joke, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm essentially going to ask Copilot to go to GitHub, look some free so for some free API which will provide me some cool dad jokes and build a web page based upon it. Okay, now let me ask Copilot to build the dad's joke web app, right? For that, I'll insert the following into the prompt. So essentially, I'm telling it to create a new GitHub repo called dad jokes and generate in it code that will be a web app that tells you funny dad jokes using some free dad jokes API, and add a title saying coolest dad. I'm also telling it to first generate the code in a local repo and then launch the app. After that, push all the files to the remote repo. Hopefully, Copilot understands what I'm trying to tell it, and let's see how it responds. Okay, it's creating the repository and it's using our tool, GitHub tool. Yep, it's asking permission to continue, which I'm going to give it. Now you can see it has started generating the files that we require for the web app. How beautiful is that? Let's see how much time it takes. This shouldn't take more than a couple of minutes. Yeah, it's creating the index.html, styles.css. Script.js. Now it's creating the README file. Now it's asking permission to run the command for actually launching the app. Let's give it that command. Okay, let's give a refresh. Nope, nothing. I'll come back to the index in a minute. What it's trying to do is it's trying to push all the files to our remote repo. So I'm going to give it the permission to do it. Yes, push all files to GitHub repo. Continue. You can actually see the power of this tool, isn't it? Now it's asking us which repo I want to actually push the file. Since I have two accounts, I'll use the repo where I want to push it. Yep, it has pushed all the code to the repo. Let me go to my repo. As you can see, it's empty. If I refresh it, I should have the new folder called dad jokes, which contains all the code that I require. Now let us go back. Okay, I'll keep all the right. So now let me try to launch the web app manually since it did not work automatically. So what I'll go do is I'll go to the code within the demo folder, which is where we had actually stored. I asked the Copilot to push all our code to, and I will open it in File Explorer, right? And let me manually launch the index.html, right? And then you can see if I it works now. So if I say get a new joke, it gives me the joke. The leather is great for sneaking around because it's made of hide. Yep. And what do you get when you cross a pig and a pineapple, a porcupine? Okay. So uh, the app actually works. And if you just notice the counter, it says 5. It's because I had paused the video in between and actually tested it a couple of times to make sure it actually works before I came and resumed the video. So that the count works fine, and I actually ran it before. So entirely an awesome tool to have, isn't it? And it gives you so much power on what you want to do. Essentially, it gives you the right tools to build what you want. And with that, I come to the end of my video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you liked my work, okay, please like and subscribe. And I'll hopefully come back with another useful video. So till then, adios.